Hello everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Author Collaborative. I am doing it on a weekday instead of doing it on a usual Friday as we have always been doing. That's because the episode that was scheduled on Friday got postponed due to some reason and we are doing it on a Tuesday instead. My guest this week is author Semanti Chakraborty. She is the author of the book Trials of Dharma. It's the second book in the trilogy and it's a retelling of the Mahabharata from Yudhishthir's point of view. So it's a mythological fiction book, and we are going to talk to Shamanti about how she went about writing the book, what was her process like, what kind of research went into it. So do stay connected. It's going to be a really interesting conversation. I am waiting for my guest to join as a viewer so I can invite her and begin the episode. Do stay connected. If you're a fan of the mythological fiction genre, I definitely recommend this book, and I definitely would say that please stay connected and listen to the episode, listen to our conversation, as we'll be talking to Shamanti about what went behind the creation of this book. Not only this book, the entire series. So it's going to be a really interesting conversation. Okay, Shamanti is here. Let me invite her and see if we can begin. Me. Please see if you can accept and connect. Can you let me know what the issue is? Shamanti, did you receive my invitation? Hi Smriti, thank you for joining. I'm waiting for my guest to come live with me so we can start the episode. Today's guest is author Semanti Chakraborty, and we are going to talk to her about her book Trials of Dharma. It's a retelling of the Mahabharata from Yudhishthir's point of view. So, if you that genre is something that interests you, or if you are a fan of the Mahabharata, to stay connected. It's going to be an interesting conversation. We will be talking about her process of writing the book and how she went about the creation of the characters, what was her experience like, what kind of challenges she faced. So, do stay connected. Shamanti, if you are still here with us, can you let us know what the issue is? Okay, I have accepted your invitation. Let's hope that works. I accepted your invitation. Hi, I'm just going to ask the audience. Can you see me?
Yes, I
Okay,
can.
so I'm not able to see you. I just want to make sure that you are visible. Both of us are visible to the audience. So, Smriti,
Oh,
if you are still here, can you let us know in the comments that whether both of us are visible on the screen? Kamakshi is also here. Kamakshi, can you let us know? Okay, oh, Smriti has confirmed. Yes. Okay. So let us begin to this episode after so many trials and tribulations.
okay, finally.
Welcome to the Author Collaborative, and thank you for being my guest.
Thank you so much for inviting me here. Thank you so much. And I have also read your book and I'm going to talk about that later.
Okay, I'm really excited about that. Before we start the episode and get into the conversation about our books, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience first?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I am Semanti Chakraborty, a physics teacher by profession and a mythology lover, and I should say an epic lover and an author by passion. So I have written a trilogy on the story based on Mahabharata, that is the focusing on the character of Yudhishthira, and we are going going to talk about the second book, I
Yes,
think, that Trials of Dharma, that is
Trials
the
of
second
Dharma.
book of the series, the middle book of the trilogy. So we are going to talk about that today.
Okay, yes, we are going to talk about that. And firstly, let me just show the cover to everyone before we get into the details. So this is the cover of the book, Trials of Dharma. As Shamanti was mentioning, this is the second book in the trilogy, and it was a really interesting read because generally, what happens is, at least in my experience as a reader and as a viewer, what I have come across is the uh, focus on the character of either Draupadi or the other characters like Karna or Arjun. I have never
Krishna.
actually, yeah, I have never come across any retellings or any such perspective which talks about Yudhishthir. So this was really interesting, first of all, on the basis of that. And the way you have shown it from his perspective, like it was not easy for him, and he was held as such a hero, somebody who is always goes by the rule, who is the ideal uh, son, ideal husband, and all of that, and how this entire episode must have affected him and how it all came about. So it was very interesting for me from that manner. Okay, we have a lot of people here. Thank you everyone for joining. So before I ask my questions to you, I just want to read one of the parts which was very interesting, and it's a high octane drama part. So this is from chapter 25, and it goes something like this. I had never been to this side of Kamyaka, and the darkening evening did not help. Maybe even my brothers too never came here during hunting. This treacherous wilderness was no place for either the predator or prey. Could they have lost their way here, or maybe tired? I moved as fast as I could, chopping the branches that kept blocking my way. Whatever it might be, I needed to see them first. A cool breeze passed over my perspiring body. Some water body must be there close by. I hurried and the next moment stumbled upon something. Looking down at it, I froze in my steps. Sahadev's empty quiver. The arrows were scattered on the ground. What has happened to him? My heart almost stopped beating the next moment. The mighty Gandiva bow. A yard away was its wielder on the ground. Arjun, I screamed before I knew. There was no response. A part of me went numb. The rest of me immediately reminded that I could not afford to go numb in this situation. Collecting myself with much effort, I knelt beside my brother's limp body. My heart felt like it would stop beating if I could not hear his heartbeat. He was alive. The other three? I looked around, my heart pounding heavily. There they were, lying on ground, motionless, unconscious. I rushed to them and placed my ear at each one's chest. My breath eased, sensing them still breathing. But all four were unconscious, and blue hue covered their features like an unkind shadow of death. Effect of poison? But how? Who could have done this to them? I looked around. A large transparent lake was ahead of us. Even in this low light of setting sun, I could see there were no plants or animals in the vicinity of the lake. Was the water poisoned by any chance? Or it was poisoned just because of? So this is the I don't want to say it is the main turning point, but it does kind of come at a point where certain events are going to unfold, leading to very interesting events.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, as I was saying, that we have never thought about looking at Mahabharata from this perspective. So thank you first of all for bringing that into focus for people like me. Now, based on my reading, I had a few questions for you. Would you be ready to answer those?
Sure, sure.
So, my first question to you is, what's the most difficult thing about writing characters like this from the opposite sex point of view? And does this become more challenging based on the genre that you have chosen, which is mythological fiction?
Um, Well, I admit that it has been a little bit difficult at the beginning when I started writing, when I had that idea at the beginning. So I had a little bit difficulty, and I had that fear and the nervousness in my mind that being a girl, how can I like capture a boy's perspective, that too in the first person POV point of view. So I have to become him, like I have to feel his feelings, and I have to
Yeah.
like not only feel the feelings, I have to make my readers feel his feelings, like how he
Hmm.
is crying, how he is smiling, how he is happy, how he is sad. His all emotions, like a man's emotions, I have to capture, and I have to understand, I have to live his life.
Hmm.
So I was very tensed at the beginning, I should admit, but gradually I find that since it is Mahabharata, thankfully that it's my favorite genre of mythology, that is Mahabharata. I have grown up with Mahabharata and Ramayana, so I was so much comfortable with the characters. So gradually that it became very easy for me.
Hmm.
And what I find is that understanding the opposite gender's emotions, or like being in their shoes, being in their characters, is not as much difficult as we think if we can really love the characters and really like feel the characters as our close friends.
Hmm.
Just as women, we have many male friends, many male like family relatives, close person to us, so we understand them also, right? So Yudhishthira has been my favorite character since childhood, so I have lived with him, like his family has become my family also. Like Mahabharata people are very close to me, like my friends. So I felt that it gradually became easier. So, as per your question, since it is this genre, it has become easier for me. Has it been any other genre? I don't know what I have done. So, in that case, it has been easier.
So what basically you are saying is that if we are doing such a thing where we are talking from the opposite gender's point of view, one of the most important things is that you should have a love towards the genre itself.
We
Correct?
should understand the
Hmm.
characters fully, right?
Yeah.
We should be able to be very comfortable with the character and
Hmm.
his or her surroundings and his or
Hmm.
her like world. So if we are very we are very used to with that world, then we will
Hmm.
be used to with that character's feelings also.
Yeah.
That
So
is my belief.
being well versed with the background of the character is what you are saying. Yes. Being familiar with the background of the character and their life makes it
Yes.
easier.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing
And
that.
we all have grown up by reading Mahabharata, I
Hmm.
believe that. So that's why it is easy for us.
Yeah,
We
that
are
is true.
Indian, so. Hmm.
Yes. Okay, which brings me to my second question. Are there any specific messages or themes or sub themes or underlying messages that you focused on or wanted the readers to take away from your book? And were you able to achieve this successfully? And how was that possible?
Okay, so definitely there is some underlying message that I want to tell my readers. That is basically I have to begin with, that is why I started writing this trilogy. The reason was, see, first of all, Yudhishthira is my favorite character. I should say my most favorite character after Lord Krishna in the Mahabharata. And when I began my life as a reader first, before being a writer, of course, I was a reader. So when I started my journey of reading, then I somehow found that be it fiction or in non-fiction, in all types of like modern Indian literature, this character, this Yudhishthira, as you was correctly saying, that is, he is very much underrated in the
Hmm.
modern literature.
Hmm.
Like we do not see anything on him. Like people are focusing on the other characters, like be it Draupadi, be it Lord Krishna, be it Karna, be it Arjuna, or even his wives, but even his sons and wives. But
Hmm.
this is a character like no one even wants to know,
Hmm.
and this is one reason that I was very much like hard. That is why no one is writing about my favorite character. So as a reader, I was missing such a book.
Hmm.
So I thought to try it myself. That is one reason to begin this book. So one of the messages I want to give to my readers, that is to explore my favorite character, to present my favorite character in front of them. One is this. Another one I must say here, that is maybe an unpleasant truth, but I must admit, that is, as a reader, I also noticed that even the books written on the other characters, or the non-fictions written on the other characters, they actually treat Yudhishthira in a very wrong way. So,
Yeah, he is kind of
actually,
portrayed as the villain, kind of a
yes.
person. Yeah, he is portrayed as the instigator who started the chain of events which led to whatever things happened in Mahabharata.
So that is one thing, that he is not just only underrated or overlooked, he is very much misinterpreted also and misunderstood.
Yes.
So when I started reading like these things, then I thought that is he really that bad? Like, whom I loved so much since childhood, is he really that bad? So that was my question, and I was searching for this answer. And then I have to research a lot, and I have to go through the original Mahabharata, that the Sanskrit one.
Hmm.
I can read Sanskrit, and I have read the whole that thing, and then the other versions also, the regional versions. I have researched a lot, like almost 5 years. It took me almost 5 years to
Wow.
pen down the first book itself. So, like the prequel of these Trials of Dharma. So uh, then I understood that I have to give my research and my understanding in my book. So the underlying message is that we have to understand the character, realize the character's feelings first. We have to become in his shoes first, and then we can judge him. Before judging a person, we have to first feel his feelings, like why he has done some mistake, definitely, but why he has done that. We have to first go through that. First, you have to know his background, his previous previous knowledge, his previous beliefs, his own understanding of wrongdoings and rights. Then we have to understand that why he has done this. And otherwise, because we know that even every criminal has a past. So why judging Yudhishthira without knowing his past, right? So
Correct.
that's why I have taken the idea of writing a 3-book series, so that I can explore him fully. So from here, this is the very reason of writing the book. So one of my messages is that to present the real image of Yudhishthira as the real Mahabharata shows us, and to show the reader that he is maybe not as bad as you think about. So definitely, if he would have been that bad, then the epic would not have started with the sloka that says that Yudhishthira is the tree of dharma, that very tree of goodness. So even Lord Krishna has been depicted as the root of that tree, and but the full tree, the entire tree is Yudhishthira himself. So definitely there is some reason behind that thing, because that is the like starting verse of the very epic. So definitely there is some reason behind that. So that is one thing. And the third thing I wanted to deliver to my readers, that is the positive side of my character. That is, the positive side means Yudhishthira was the Dharmraj, but nowadays, if you ask any people, then the first response will be coming that, oh, Yudhishthira, oh, that gambler, so that worthless and gambling, that who has gambled out his wife, his brothers, etc. So I wanted to dispel this myth, that is, Yudhishthira does not mean only a gambler. He also means kindness to the subjects. He also means a good ruler. He also means like a savior to his brothers, like we see in that part you have read out the passages.
Yes.
So that very part shows that how much wise he was, and how much how his presence of mind was how profound, that he could save his brothers from the danger, and he did that many times. That Nahusha incident also you will find in this book itself. So he acted as a savior. So these are his positive sides, his good sides. So uh, it's maybe this is our trend in present, that we highlight the mistakes so much, we highlight the negatives so much, that we forget the positive sides of a character, of a person, anything. So that was also my underlying message to my readers, that he also has some positives, we must learn from it. That's why this effort.
So, the remainder part of that question that I asked you was, how were you able to achieve it, and were you successful in doing it? Do you feel you were successful in doing this?
Okay. So the third book has been recently published, like in the last 25
Hmm.
December, it has been published. So it is like not even 6 months it has been like the what I could complete the series. So I am yet to get the feedback fully, but so far how much I got, I can definitely tell from that that I have been successful already, because many readers have sent me messages and also have reviewed my books telling that their very perspective on this character has changed.
Hmm.
Their very perspective has drastically changed after reading my book. So definitely, at least even one of the people admit that his or her perspective has been changed, then also I consider myself
Yeah.
successful, because I could reach even one people with my message,
Mhm.
then also I consider myself successful.
Okay.
So
That's
I hope many
wonderful.
more
Yeah.
people will feel. I hope many more people will read and feel the same.
That I also hope that, and fingers crossed. But I just want to share my own personal experience also, which is that I think I have mentioned in my review also that this was my first experience of coming across Yudhishthir as the main character, and we are focusing on his feelings and what he went through. So it was like looking at Mahabharata from a very different perspective and a fresh perspective, which not only changed our own perspectives but also made us understand that we need to look at Yudhishthir in a positive light.
Not just positive, he has his negative also. And since we are talking about the second book, Trials of Dharma, it is its title is Trials, which the very name is Trials, because it is trial and error, his story of trial and error.
Hmm.
He definitely has his negative, and as the reader you know that it is the book is beginning with his
Yes.
negative but ending up with positive. So
Yeah.
that was my main aim, that is to show the readers that we are human and we all can do mistakes, but not everyone can learn from the mistake,
Yeah.
right? So
So
not everyone
yeah,
can correct the mistake. So
the
that is the
story, yeah,
hmm,
the journey of Yudhishthira from you know
hmm.
uh, he's making mistakes. First of all, he's accepting that I'm a flawed person and I have made this mistake, but from there on he goes on to redeem himself. After that, every attempt of his has been about making himself better, doing good by the people he did wrong to. Hello.
Definitely, and that is also another lesson we must take from the Mahabharata, because we know the epics are like storehouse of lessons. So we
Hmm.
must take that lessons also from him, that it is very easy to fall. It is
Hmm.
human to fall. It is human to err, but it is divine to rise again. So
Yes, that is true.
so
Yeah, I think that brings me to the end of my questions that I had for you. You have also read my book. Now I leave the floor open to you to share your experience.
okay, so I have read her books. Like, it is a very beautiful short story collection of romance genre, and I must say that I do not read much of that genre, but this is the book that attracted me to the, like, it is such as the stories are so short and sweet, and we can like finish the stories very quickly, and it doesn't take much time to read one story at a time, and thus it like it is very easy to um, read, and very short book also. It is not like that we have to give much time to read and complete the book. So it was my routine at a time when I got the book, that every night I would read one story before sleeping. Like, it would be very sweet, short, very sweet and loving dream would come after
Oh,
reading the story. Like, the stories are like such that. So all the
thank
stories are
you.
very like all are favorite to me. So I cannot choose one if you tell me like that.
I'm just going to show the
So yes,
audience
this
the
is this
book
is
that
the
we are
book,
talking about.
Heartstrings and Harmonies.
So this is the
So
cover of the book, and it's Heartstrings and Harmonies, and it's a collection of 29 short stories. Yes, please continue, Shimon.
yes. And it, I must also add that it has a beautiful prologue that has the like summaries, very one line and short and sweet summaries of all the stories and in order. Like when you read the prologue, you won't be able to understand. And the author also tells that after reading the whole book, you again come back to the prologue and then you read it again. And then you will understand why the prologue is such that. And then you will find that this was the like messages, the underlying messages of the each story that are actually compiled in the prologue. So I like the prologue
Thank
very much.
you.
Like this idea of like I liked.
Thank you so much.
It is a
That
very
makes
nice
me
idea,
really happy.
really an innovative thing, and definitely all the stories are very beautifully penned, and you have also written like the prompts of the stories and how you got the idea, how you got the prompts, and also the like song lines, the song quotations are there, like Hindi song quotations. Most of the songs were not known to me, so when I heard those songs, also this book actually made me hear the listen to the songs also,
Wow.
and when I listened to them, and then I found how appropriately the author has chosen the songs
Oh, wow.
for each
Thank
story.
you.
So that is like, but only thing is that the after finishing each story, I felt that it could be longer because like my task is not quenched yet. It could be longer. So like after the first story, I was waiting for finished. I want to read more. So again, we have the second story, and then we have the third. So the task was quenched like one after another, and all different flavors of love. Like we cannot even think like so many flavors of love existed in the universe. So like it was very soul satisfying read,
Thank you.
very soul satisfying.
Very, very happy to hear that.
Okay. So um,
Would you also like to read out from the book?
yes, definitely, that I was searching here in front of me. Yes, so all the stories are my favorite equally, but the one that which one touched my heart the most, that one I will read out. Acha, this one. 2025. Mommy, they looked at each other in panic and rushed into the bedroom opposite the kitchen. Their 5-year-old son, Pratim, had a photograph clasped in his tiny hands. Tears streamed down his little face as he looked at the photo with fear and curiosity. Preeti ran to his bed and enveloped him in a hug, while Prathamesh took the photograph from Pratim's hand. The Beauty and the Beast. Prathamesh read out the caption below the photo loudly. Who is that beast with you in the photo, Mummy? That is not a beast, Pratim. That's your father. Pratim looked at the person in the photo and then at his father, clearly confused. Let me tell you a story, darling, Preeti began. Now, I should not give any more spoiler, and I am stopping here only. And what was the story, like the what kind of Beauty and Beast we are going to get here, that only the readers can understand after reading the story and the whole book. So this was the thing I liked the most, like how she also had got it. She has mentioned that she has got it from the Beauty of and the Beast prompt, but how she has managed to like change the prompt in her own way, that is a mesmerizing thing.
Thank you so much.
Amazing, amazing word.
Thank you. Thank you. So this particular story is titled "These Threads of Love Entwined with Yours," and it is so each title in this story collection is after a Hindi song, and the song for this particular story is "Ye Moh Moh Ke Dhage" from Zor Laga Ke Hai Shah. And thank you so much for reading that part out. I'm so happy to hear that you enjoyed that story.
Yes, actually, I must say that this one actually touched my heart the most. So beautiful, really beautiful.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
I would like to ask some questions to you also.
Okay, go on.
So first of all, I want to know that how did these ideas come to you? Like you have mentioned the prompts, but still then, but how you have modified those prompts, that is totally your idea. So how did that particular idea come to you? And from any real life incident, or you have purely imagined it? Another thing is that what are your stories are depicting like a true love and a perfect love. So, do you think that this type of true and perfect love is still available in this universe, like in this modern world? What are
Okay.
your thoughts about the perfect love?
Okay. So the first one, to answer the first part of your question, how the ideas came to me. The very first idea came to me with the first prompt that came to me, which was write a story inspired by your favorite song, and that story was Ye Sham Mastani, which is this intoxicating evening. And when I finished the story, I had a feeling that if I can, write one story based on a song, why can't I write many more and make this into a book? So I went ahead and began writing one story after the another. So I'm a part of different communities where writing prompts are shared regularly. And whenever a new prompt came to me, my first thought was to how can I make this a part of the collection that I'm working on. So that was the first motivation. So that was the first starting point. And then I thought of a song that could go with that prompt. So it was a two-way process. Sometimes the songs came to me first, and then the story came to me. Sometimes the story came to me first, and then I looked for a particular song which would match the story. So it was a mix of both. For instance, the very first story, Ye Sham Mastani, the situation came to me first, where a mother and son, they are going through old things, like the things that we don't use anymore, and they come across the boombox, and in it, they hear the sound of the grandfather, and then they go on to share the story of how their grandparents meet. And I weave the story in my head, and I was thinking of a song that would match the story that I had in my mind, and I was like, this would match perfectly, because it seems like a song, where two people would meet for the first time, and it could become their song. So for that particular story, the story came first, and then the song came to me. But the story that you read out, Ye Moh Moh Ke Dhage, I think for that particular story, the song came to me first. As soon as I read the prompt, the song came to me, and I thought of the story that could go very well with that particular song. So it's a mix and match of both.
Okay.
And
So,
the second part of your question, I
real life
think,
or the imaginative?
yes.
Real
Uh,
life, or like you have met someone like that, or totally your imagination?
So see, I am of the belief that you attract the kind of energy that you give out into the universe. So
Hmm.
intrinsically, if you are a good person and you truly believe that good things should happen in the universe, not only to you but also to the people around you, I think that kind of energy attracts the right kind of people into your life also. So if you are that kind of a person, then definitely it is possible for you to find the kind of love that you deserve. So
Definitely,
yes, such kind of
definitely.
love does exist. But if you are only not satisfied with yourself, and if you are only, you know, in a constant questionable situations, like मेरे साथ क्यों हो रहा है? Why am I like this? Why am I not getting what I deserve? If you are unsatisfied yourself, you will not attract those kind of people into your life, and maybe you will continuously feel like something better is out there for you. So you will not attract the right kind of love, right kind of people in your life, and
Yes.
that will always leave you unsatisfied and feeling that this is not a happy ending that I was looking for. Yeah. So
Okay,
even
and
in
that's
my
why we
story,
see. Yes.
yeah.
Hmm.
So even in my stories,
That's
when
why
you
we
see
see
that
in
the
the stories.
characters are,
Hmm.
yeah, that the characters are going through a rough patch, I have shown that part also. It's not like all the characters are happy and they, satisfied with their lives. There are a lot of problems also in most of the stories, but I have shown how they learn to accept it.
Hmm. Definitely, there are problems, but true love knows how to overcome, right?
Yes.
Definitely. So, Okay, so my second question to you would be that, like I have already mentioned in my experience, that is the prologue that attracted me the most. That is, the prologue is very beautiful and very well thought. So in the prologue, we see the, like you have given the gist of every story in the, like, in the order in which order you have given the stories in the actual book. So now that brings my second question, that is there any specific reason of that particular order? Like, these different flavors of love you are arranging in such a beautiful order. So is there any like well thought out plan behind this also? So, or it was just random? I don't think it is random, because the prologue doesn't make me think so. So that's why it's my second question.
So, first of all, the prologue came right at the end. Though in the book it appears at the beginning of the book, the prologue was something that I wrote when I was completed with all the 29 stories. So that is something I wrote literally like 10 days before the publication of the book. I wrote the prologue. So I had an idea that what the gist of each story is like. So first of all, the final content of the book was ready. That's why I was able to think of the prologue. And secondly, when I had about 2 to 3 stories completed, I had always this clarity in my mind that I don't want to focus on just one kind of love. I want to show love as friendship. I wanted to show familial love. I wanted to show love where you have lost someone, and then how do you grieve? How do you come out of that? So I wanted to show that kind of love also. So if you have noticed, there are divisions in the stories where I have divided the stories into different sections, where one is love is romance, then there is love is friendship, then there is love is hope, and then love is life and beyond. So that's how I divided the stories as per the essence of the story. If I was talking about two couples meeting for the I if I was talking about a couple meeting for the first time, then that kind of love is put in the section of love is romance. If I was showing two friends coming together, or two friends standing by each other and their friendship proving to be a boon to them, then I had put that story in the section where I have shown love is friendship. So I wanted to show love in its different forms through the stories, and that's how the prologue also came up. You know, like I had divided the sections, and I wanted to show the kind of love that is romantic at first, and then I wanted to show the love that is in the form of friendship. So I divided the uh, sections into as per my understanding of what kind of love do people look for first. So obviously all of us look for the love in a partner first, and then we look for the kind of love that we find through friends, and we look for the love that we find through family. So that's how I divided the sections as per my understanding of how the world looks at love, and what kind of a love is prioritized over the different kinds of other kinds of love. So yeah, that's how it came about.
Okay, really interesting, and the, like, the very thought process is also very interesting.
Thank you
Okay,
so much. That brings us to the end of the long form questions that we had for each other. And we come to my favorite part of the episode, which is the rapid fire round. Are you ready?
sure.
So, how we'll go, Shamanti, is I will ask you one question and then you ask me one question. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So, my first question to you is, if you had to do something differently as a child or a teenager to become a better writer as an adult, what would you do?
Definitely reading and more writing. Because without reading more, we cannot become a better writer, and also the practice more writing.
Yes.
So read more and write more. Definitely, that will be my advice to my own younger self.
Okay.
Okay,
Interesting.
so
Yeah, I agree with
my
that.
first question in rapid fire to you is, which story of this book is your personal favorite?
I think there are two. And I only say this because they are in part inspired by my own life. The one is about the two brothers. Uh, I am forgetting the title of the song, but there are two brothers, Mayank and Manav, and one of them is an overachiever. The younger one is a little playful, and he's not academically as inclined as his older brother. So that's one story. And it's based on the song Jame Raho from Tare Zameen Par, and it shows the story of these two brothers. And then there's another story where a couple is listening to a song in the evening. The song is Abhi Na Jao Chhodkar, and that is also inspired in part by personal life because my husband and I, we are constantly having such banters with each other where we are pulling each other's legs and trying to pacify one another when we are upset with the other. So yeah, these two are, I would not say they are my favorite, but I can just think of them immediately because they are inspired by somewhat from my life.
Okay,
Okay, my
that's
second
interesting.
question for you is, what is your favorite part of being a writer?
Okay, my favorite part of being a writer is definitely being with the characters and living a different life and living in a different world. The world that I am creating and I am living with them with my characters created by me. So I am living with my people and in my own home. That is the feeling. That is a different feeling. I enjoy
Yeah,
that.
wonderful. Yeah.
So my second question for you, that is, which story of your book do you feel could be changed to a better ending, like a different ending, if you could change one of the endings?
I don't want to, I'm not sure if I want to change it, but there are a few stories where, the readers have felt that it is either very confusing or I did not build up on the characters more. And one of those stories is the one that I just spoke about, which is about the couple. The story is titled Don't Go Just Yet. A lot of readers have come back and told me that, this particular story didn't work as well for them as the others did. So I do wish that I could build upon it better.
Okay.
Okay, my third question to you is mythological fiction or a Mahabharata retelling that you have enjoyed and would recommend. Why?
Okay, I would talk about two authors. One is not among us anymore. That is K.M. Munshi. His Krishna Avatara, the novel, that is a seven-book series,
Okay.
and he could not complete the series actually when he was writing the the eighth book he was writing, and the some part of seven book he has written, and the eighth book he has just begun. He unfortunately passed away, and that author is my most favorite, and he is actually the very inspiration behind my being an author, and the author based on this genre basically. The reason is that okay, the second one is my editor Sai Sarupa Iyer, who is the author of Rukmini, the Draupadi, these books. Abhaya is her first book. So she is the author of five books, all on mythology and strong women characters, female characters. So these two are my inspirations, and both are inspirations for the same reason. The reason is that they know and they taught me how to write in the this mythological genre without changing the message that is given in the
Mm-hmm.
epic. Like there will be some imaginations, definitely there will be some creative liberties, definitely. Without that we cannot write a fiction. Fiction means creative liberty itself. But the K. Munshi also taught me how to take the creative liberties without changing the epic, like without changing the incidents, without demeaning the good characters, and without like highlighting the bad characters
Mm-hmm.
in the hero. So not making the hero to villain and not making the villain to hero. So
Mm-hmm.
how to keep the truth as truth, and even then we can take the creative liberties. So that is some valuable lesson I have learned from him also, and from my editor Saishrupa Iyer also. She also does the same thing, like she takes much creative liberty in the fictions, but never you will see that her story is violating any of the like truth that is given in the Ramayana and
Mm-hmm.
Mahabharata on any Puranas. That is
Okay.
the thing I like.
Interesting. Okay, thank you so much for sharing those recommendations. I will definitely check out both these authors' books.
Okay. And my third question to you will be that's similar. That is, which author in your genre is your inspiration?
Oh my God. I'm a 90s kid through and throughout. For romance, I'm definitely going to say Nicholas Sparks and all of the romance authors that I grew up reading in Mills and Boons. I don't have a particular favorite author when I refer to Mills and Boons because I have read those books extensively. So, for romance, I would say definitely Nicholas Sparks. And my other favorite genre is thrillers. So, for thrillers and dramas, I would say Sydney Sheldon.
Okay. Definitely, I will take the recommendation. I will check out their books also.
Yeah. So, if you love romantic drama, definitely Nicholas Sparks. Do check out. You will enjoy his books. Okay, that brings me to my next question. Question number 4. What are your thoughts on critical or negative reviews?
Okay. So I must say that we learn more from the negative reviews or critical reviews than the positive
Hmm.
ones. So the critical or negative reviews are the best ones in our best experiences in our writing journey, because from them we can learn the feedback that we have to learn the areas that we
Hmm.
have to improve in our next work. Or even after, you know, that in the world of self-publishing or Kindle publishing, we also can edit our books after getting the
Hmm.
feedbacks from the readers.
Hmm.
So whenever I get some negative review, I always try to work upon that, and then I will incorporate them in the next work, definitely. So
Yeah.
that is the best teacher
Yeah.
for me.
Wonderful way of looking at it. Yeah. Thank you.
So my fourth question to you is, which tips do you give to the young writers to improve their writing?
Okay. So for the first of all, I would like to clarify, and I always tell the writers asking for the tips also that you have to understand your primary motive of writing first. Are you writing for yourself or are you writing to become an author? There's a difference between being a writer and an author. An author is somebody who writes books or who is earning from their writing. And if you are a writer, you are just writing as a hobby, mostly. So first of all, you have to be clear about what you want to do with your writing. That's the biggest advice I give them. And then I would advise them to read as much as possible to improve their writing, because I believe that reading is like that basic essential tool. Like when you are cooking, you need a stove. You cannot cook without having a stove. The same goes for writing. If you're not reading, you will not be able to write. So read. I'm not just talking about reading books. You can read anything. You can read blogs. You can read newspapers. You can read periodicals. You can read magazines. But read. That is the only basis of your writing and your language development, your vocabulary development, that will help you to write better.
Very helpful to the young writers.
Okay, my last question to you is, what is your favorite line, passage, or chapter from your book, and why?
Well, my most favorite, I should begin with the chapter. My most favorite chapter in this book, that is the second book, Trials of Dharma, that is chapter 20, because that is the incident of the famous war against Gandharvas, when the Gandharvas have captured the Kauravas and Kaurava women, especially the ministers and all, and then it is the Pandavas who had to
Yeah.
rush to save them, and Yudhishthira ensured that they go to save their enemies and their wives,
Hmm.
especially the women of the enemies, because he did not want their wives suffer the same fate that his wife or their wife suffered.
Hmm.
So that is the, like, I think that is actually the turning point of whole Mahabharata. That's why this is the central point of my second book, the central book, and this is why this is my most favorite, because that actually shows Yudhishthira's transformation.
Hmm.
So I must read out my favorite passage from here. That is, they wanted to display their wealth to us, show them that it is us who are rich in self respect. They have come to make you feel inferior. Do show them where you are bigger. Let us release them, brothers. Let it be our best revenge to treat them with respect when we have both opportunity and justified reason to harm them. So that is my most favorite passage, I must say.
It shows such character growth in Yudhishthira, and also it shows the positive side, which I think you are trying to show in the entire series.
Yes.
Like
Because
he,
there only
we see
the
his true
gambler
essence.
becomes a savior.
Yeah,
He transformed to a savior.
yeah.
Okay. So how the people, the majority of people see him, that changes just right here.
Hmm.
The exile period is very important in his life.
Hmm. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So my last question to you is that will you ever try writing a different genre other than romance? Why, and if not, then why not? If yes,
I
then
guess
why, and if no, then why not?
so. I have attempted a different genre in this particular book also, which was my first time and foray into something which was close to thriller and horror. I've written two short stories which are very close to horror and thriller, and I want to expand on that particular genre because I don't know if I have mentioned it earlier, but for me, my two favorite genres as a reader are romance and thriller equally. Like I have read as many thrillers as I have read romance, so I would like to explore that genre also as an author.
Very nice. So we'll be waiting to get some thriller from you as well.
Yes,
So,
yes,
so what a combination actually. Romance and thriller are like two strikingly opposite genres, I think so,
yes.
right? One is the softest and one is the like that blood and gore and all. So it is the like very like different type of interest you have.
Yeah.
So definitely
So
we would
very
like to
very
see that from
opposite
you.
personalities. You will see. So,
Okay.
thank you
So
so much, Shamanti, for joining me today. This has been an absolutely wonderful experience and conversation. Whatever insight you have shared related to the genre, related to your writing, I'm sure they will be helpful to whoever listens, and they will be helpful to me also whenever I sit down to write next. So, thank you for joining me.
thank you so much. Thank you
And
so much to
whoever,
all the viewers
yeah,
also. And I also let them know that my third book, Triumph of Dharma, is also available now in Amazon. And it is available in Kindle also. The paperback will be coming very soon. And the ones who are interested, please read them. And those who have read the first two books, they definitely read it. So
yeah,
that is the
and
finale of the
yeah.
series.
I would recommend all three books, though I have read only the second one, and I'm really looking forward to read the first and the third. I must compliment you on that also, actually, because I have not read the first part and I read the second part. But kudos to your writing that, I was not at all confused. Uh, Despite not having read the first part, I was able to gauge the whatever was happening in the second part. There was no confusion at all. So kudos on that also.
Thank you so much. I would definitely look forward to your reviews for first and third part also. So
Definitely. I will surely pick them up and review them whenever I can. Once again, thank you,
thank
and
you. Thank you.
hopefully we will be able to do this again. I really look forward to having another episode with you sometime soon.
Definitely. I will also look forward to talking with you again with another book from you also and another book from my side also.
Yes. So fingers crossed for both of us that we should bring out another book soon. Thank you so much, Shamanti, for joining
Thank
me.
you. Thank
Have
you.
a great week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.